about this. And there's a gentleman to my side with whom I stayed that night, shared the house with him, and a very nice man. But immediately he said, Irish is as dead as Latin. And I just turned from my friend here and I looked the Pole in the eye and I said, what you have just heard now is very typical of many people's view of Irish.
Farewell, farewell, Glencoe and Kill, long may your prosper stand. Long may your silvery waters roll along your pleasant strand. Long may your sons and daughters fair in love and peace unite. May the sacred thoughts of religion never be the cause of fight.
Well, there were some people who were promoting Irish, but at the end of the last century, they were very academically minded people, and they were more concerned with preserving the literature and with preserving the speech of the language.
The literature of Ireland has received great attention over the years, particularly the writings of Joyce and Yeats.
Irish culture means a lot more than the Book of Kells and a lot more than the sort of normal artefacts that you see in museums, because Irish culture is a living thing.
Douglas Hyde was a great man, in my opinion, one of the great men of Ireland in the 19th century. He concentrated on the spoken language. He wanted to preserve Irish as a spoken language. And at the beginning, a tremendous number of Protestants also answered that message from the ascendancy. So it became a movement which spread through all classes of Irish society.
But I always say the Irish people didn't throw away the language from them willingly, it was taken from them. I mean, the main force, I suppose, in the late 1800s was the national school system, the primary education system set up by the British, where English was taught as a language. Irish wasn't taught either reading or writing.
The Gael Scoilna operate on a totally different system, total immersion. We get a child in at 5 years of age. Within a couple of months, the child doesn't know whether it's English or Irish. Irish is spoken to them all the time. Phrases are used. Shas suas, stand up, shas suas, repetition, English, Irish, English, Irish. The children go home, they're speaking bits of Irish at home, they're speaking bits of English. The parents who have been afraid that they've lost all their Irish that they ever heard in school are suddenly starting to remember. It's coming back from this place, the back of their head, where it's all stored and they thought that had lost, and it's coming back to them, and it's creating a whole new atmosphere of Irish language in the homes as well as in the school.
But it is definitely true to say that Ireland, with its language, with its games, with its dance, with its song, and with all of the things that it inherited from its own tradition, is more uniquely different than an Ireland without them. And in that way, it is very important for national identity that we would not only preserve the language, because there's no point in preserving a language as something that you literally keep as a relic of the past, but would continue to encourage its use as a daily means of communication at different levels of society.
Well, certainly the revival of Irish language in Ireland itself, has been very prominent in the last, 10 to 15 years. I think what's interesting is the American dimension of it, because it always strikes me as a little bizarre that any American would want to learn Gaelic as an obscure language as it is, and what possible use could they have for it. But I think it does perform more of a symbolic function and an attachment to genuine Irishness. I think people, Americans in particular, who learn Gaelic, that's a source of their identity and a source of they feel true connection to it.
Sean-nós singing is an interesting phenomenon because it actually means old style singing, and where it comes from is a form of unaccompanied singing that has been common in Ireland obviously for hundreds of years.
Gus media fan of the leaves of every out no more. Casu calling cast the green arm, gus he crenus meredo, gus etch my hen and rafarir.
But the interesting thing also about sean-nós is that it is a form of singing where the singer has a great deal of freedom. In other words, where he or she can sing using a great deal of variety on notes and a great deal of variety in the way that he or she says the words, sings the words, and has a degree of freedom. I think, I suppose, a bit like blues singing, where every performance is absolutely different.
Na quenye gala parvele marbis modrase chasenge.
Music and song were two different things. You rarely got music accompanied by singing. So singing simply went on its own, went in its own way, if you like. And what's interesting about sean-nós is that it has survived over hundreds of years, often with a great deal of disparagement, and for many, many years it was certainly unfashionable. It is now a lot more fashionable to sing sean-nós.
For the people that are coming after it.